it must be understood that the voices don't just exist in the heads of schizophrenics. Okay, they're hitting us all to different degrees. It's the schizophrenic where it's most clear that they have taken over, and you can see that. Now, what these things survive on is negative emotional energy. And I found that out one day where I brought the book I brought a book from a shaman in that was stating that. And Carlos Castaneda kind of said the same thing. And he if you read his series, he's leading up, but he wouldn't come out to the very end where he said, they give us their minds. And this is what he was talking about. In schizophrenics, they have taken over the minds of these patients, and they are inserting thoughts, constant negative. And you look at it, these thoughts are constantly negative. And they don't study thoughts. So psychiatry, psychology, they're not looking at the thought process. They say, oh, it's a dysfunctional thought, or it's a, what do they call it? Thought disorder. They call it a thought disorder. But you think they study the thoughts? No, not once, not at all. And if you try to ask these guys what they're thinking, they jump all over you. So these entities feed on negative emotional energy, and they generate that negative emotional energy by putting negative, fearful thoughts into people's head, mostly centered around fear and death are the two biggies. Poverty is another one. Not knowing what's happening. As long as they can keep injecting these thoughts and generating that negative emotional energy, that's their food. If they can start a war, if they can start a class, classes fighting against one another, like they're trying to do now, where Soros is sending all these people into Europe to cause all this consternation and turmoil, which he's done a good job of. The more fear and anger and anxiety and negative emotion that can be generated, the more these things feed. And if they can start a war, that's like a hog's trough for them.